When I met Eli, I thought I'd finally found someone solid. He wasn't perfect, but I believed in him, and I believed in us. For 6 years, I poured everything I had into building a life with him. But in the end, he didn't just betray me. He made me question whether I ever knew him at all. You don't realize the moment your life starts unraveling until you're already sitting in the wreckage. For me, that moment came on a Monday. 9:42 a.m., the kind of day that feels normal, coffee half finished, work emails stacking up, and your partner texting you, "Hope today's not too crazy." Dinner later? And then a call from the bank. They just wanted to verify some recent activity, which sounded routine, until the woman on the phone asked if I'd recently withdrawn $6,800 from our joint account. I said, "Excuse me?" She asked again, nicely this time, like maybe I hadn't heard her. $6,800. Transferred in chunks, over 2 weeks, to an account I didn't recognize. I didn't panic right away. I mean, it had to be a mistake, right? A glitch? A duplicate account? I texted Eli, "Hey, weird question. Have you been moving money for a project or something?" He didn't respond. I stared at the screen, waiting for those 3 dots to pop up. Nothing. I wish I could say that was the moment I knew something was wrong, but it wasn't. It was later that night, after 2 ignored texts, 1 vague call you later reply, and an excuse about a client emergency, that I opened our joint account again and saw it sitting at $414. 6 years of careful saving, gone. Let me rewind. Eli and I met through friends. He worked in construction, had just started his own remodeling business, and wasn't exactly stable, but he had that energy, the kind that made people lean in. I was quieter. Real estate admin in Sacramento, spreadsheets, calls, contracts. The kind of job that makes people glaze over when you explain it at parties. We clicked fast, moved in after a year, bought a fixer-upper together, with me fronting most of the down payment because he was just getting on his feet. I didn't mind. He made me feel seen, wanted, like we were building something bigger than ourselves. He used to call me his backbone. Told people he couldn't have done any of it without me, and I believed him. He started making more money about 3 years in. Word of mouth, a few lucky contracts, a kitchen reno that went viral on Facebook. Suddenly, we were talking about getting married. Kids, maybe buying a second property. He told me he wanted to do right by me, that when he proposed, it'd be with a ring I deserved. And I said, "Take your time," because I thought we had forever. And now? Now I was staring at a bank balance that couldn't even cover next month's rent. I checked the transaction history again. Transfers to an account ending in 0774. All authorized, all recent. I hadn't even known he had another account. I called him again. No answer. He finally texted me 3 hours later. "Sorry, crazy day, can we talk tonight?" I stared at those words so long they stopped making sense. When he got home, he acted normal, like nothing had happened. Kissed my cheek, took off his boots, asked if I wanted takeout or if he should cook. I asked him straight out, "What happened to the money, Eli?" He paused, looked confused, too confused, like a kid caught mid-lie. "What money?" "Our savings," I said. "You've been moving it. I saw the transfers. I got a call from the bank." He ran a hand over his face. "Oh, that." That, like I'd asked about a missing sock. He sat down and gave me some story about needing to cover short-term business expenses. "Just to float the next couple jobs. It's temporary." "Temporary?" I asked. "You drained it," he shrugged. "I was going to put it back. It's not like it's gone. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You didn't tell me. You didn't ask. You didn't even mention it." "I didn't want to stress you out," he said. "You've been overwhelmed lately." As if he was protecting me, I should have screamed, cried, slammed a door. Instead, I went cold, because something didn't line up. The money was gone, but the last time I checked our credit card, he'd bought a new watch. Took a client to dinner at a steakhouse we couldn't afford. He wasn't covering business expenses. He was spending like someone who didn't expect to get caught. And then, the final crack. 3 nights later, I opened his laptop. He never used to guard it. Until recently. I didn't even mean to snoop. I just wanted to check the calendar, but the browser auto-filled his email, and there it was. An entire thread with Mira. My best friend since high school, maid of honor at my sister's wedding, the person I trusted with everything. I stared at her name like it didn't make sense. The emails weren't even subtle. Did she ask where the money went? You should come over after you tell her. I'll keep things quiet. Attached to one message? An Airbnb receipt for a weekend in Napa. For 2. While I thought he was out of town for a roofing job, I sat there, in the dim blue light of the screen, trying to make sense of it. He stole from me. He cheated on me. And he did it with the one person I would have defended with my life. When he came home, I didn't say a word. I smiled, made dinner, asked about his day, because I wasn't ready to confront him yet. I needed time, not to forgive, but to plan. After I found the emails, I stopped sleeping through the night. Not because I missed him, or because I was heartbroken in that dramatic movie kind of way. No, I didn't sleep because my brain wouldn't shut off. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him. Not Eli, the boyfriend. Not Eli, who told me he loved me. I saw the version of him that sat across from me every night, pretending, lying straight to my face while planning trips with Mira behind my back. I started noticing everything. How his tone changed when she texted. How he always showered right after he worked late. How he deleted his call logs every night. They say hindsight is 20/20. Mine was 2010. The first thing I did? I downloaded everything. His emails, the receipts, screenshots of messages I forwarded to myself when he left his laptop unlocked. I even pulled our last 6 months of bank statements and flagged every single transaction that didn't make sense. He used our money to pay for their gas, their meals, their hotel stays. She Venmo'd him cute little emojis for coffee and dessert while I paid rent and groceries. It wasn't just betrayal. It was theft. I wanted to scream. I wanted to call her. But instead, I called my bank, I froze the account and opened a new one, solo, under my name only, moved what little was left, set alerts on every card. Eli didn't notice for 3 days. When he finally asked, I shrugged. Oh, just cleaning up some of our finances. You're always so busy, figured I'd simplify it. He smiled and kissed my forehead. Appreciate you, babe. Disgusting. Next came my credit report, and that's when I found it. He'd opened a personal credit line using our joint info. In both our names, I felt like I was going to throw up. $7,500. Maxed out. For someone who never had money before, he moved fast once he got access to mine. This is where people ask, why didn't you confront him? Because he wasn't scared yet, and I wanted him to feel it. Not immediately. Slow. Like a leak in the ceiling before the whole thing caves in. I started talking to people in his business circle. Not obviously. Just casual conversations. Checking in with old clients we'd both met, vendors we'd invited to our housewarming. Turns out, Eli wasn't quite the stand-up guy he pretended to be. He overpromised, underdelivered, got behind on projects, used cheap materials but charged top-tier rates. 2 contractors even said he ghosted them on payments. I took notes, names, dates, project sites, all of it. Meanwhile, Mira went silent. She must have known I'd found out. She stopped tagging him in photos. Blocked me on everything. Real subtle. I didn't reach out, didn't curse her out, didn't give her the satisfaction, let her sit in the silence. Let it itch. Here's the thing. When someone thinks they've won, they get sloppy. Eli was cocky now. He started dressing flashier, upgraded his tools, talked about scaling his business like he was about to take over the world. He didn't even notice when I stopped talking about our future. Didn't notice when I stopped saying we. Didn't notice I moved my valuables into a storage unit 2 towns over. One night, he was scrolling Instagram in bed and showed me a picture of a modern kitchen he'd just finished. She loved it, he said. Client said it was better than the Pinterest board she gave me. I smiled. I bet. What he didn't know? I'd already emailed that same client. She didn't love it. She said the tiles were misaligned, and the invoice included a $1,200 overcharge. She was ready to report him to the Better Business Bureau, so I connected the dots for her. With receipts. It wasn't about ruining his business. It was about removing the mask. I made a new email address. No name, no signature, just files. I sent the real invoices to the city's contractor review board. I flagged his expired license. I let the building inspector know the insulation on his last job didn't meet code. You know, helpful stuff. And I waited. Within 2 weeks, he got a call during dinner. He stepped outside to take it. I heard his voice raise. Heard him say, no, that's not right. I submitted the permits. What do you mean a report? He came back in looking pale. I didn't ask. He didn't tell me, just chewed his food quietly. Mira, meanwhile, lost her spot at the event she'd been planning for months. She was part of a city initiative to run an outdoor festival series. Branding, vendors, influencers. Except someone let the right people know about her ethics issue. Nobody wanted drama tied to public events. She was dropped to keep the peace. I wasn't done. But I was close, because now they were squirming. They weren't sure who was pulling the strings. They just knew something was unraveling, and they couldn't stop it. And then came the final straw. Eli missed a payment on our lease. The landlord called me directly, said he'd tried to reach Eli twice. I covered it, quietly. Then I went to the leasing office and removed his name from the renewal, because the next step wouldn't be quiet. I started packing, took my name off the bills, forwarded my mail, changed my emergency contacts, and the whole time, I smiled. Eli would come home to a clean house, still thinking everything was fine. But soon, he'd walk in, and I wouldn't be there. Not just physically, but financially, emotionally, legally. I would be gone, and he'd have no one to blame but himself. By the time I packed the last box, I'd made peace with one thing. They weren't going to apologize. People like Eli and Mira don't feel guilt. They just feel inconvenience. And my goal was to become the biggest inconvenience of their lives. The day I left, he didn't even notice. He came home to an empty house and texted me like nothing happened. Where are you? Babe? Did something happen? I didn't respond. Instead, I left a single note on the counter. You took everything, so I took back what's mine. He must have called 20 times that night. Then the messages started. This isn't like you. We can talk about it. You're overreacting. You're being crazy. Classic Eli, every sentence was a reminder that he didn't regret what he did. He regretted losing control. While he was panicking, I was busy. I moved into a small studio on the other side of town. Nothing fancy, just mine. Paid in full. Cash. Every morning, I woke up early, made coffee, and smiled because for the first time in months, I didn't have to pretend. But my revenge wasn't done yet. No, I wasn't after blood. I was after exposure. Because Eli had spent years crafting this image of being the good guy, the one who helped people, the reliable contractor. Except now I had receipts proving he cut corners on permits, reused materials, and misled clients. And I had friends who were ready to listen. My old coworker Jen worked in real estate too. She referred clients to contractors like Eli all the time, so I invited her to coffee. We caught up, talked about work, and right before she left, I dropped the first bomb. You should be careful referring people to Eli, I said casually. She blinked. Why? I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. Photos, receipts, screenshots. Her jaw dropped. Oh my God, that's fraud. I nodded, and that's just what I can prove. Within a week, word spread through her brokerage like wildfire. Nobody wanted to recommend him anymore. Eli's steady pipeline of clients? Gone. Meanwhile, Mira was trying to rebuild her social image after getting dropped from that event gig. She started posting motivational quotes and pretending she was focusing on her piece. Cute. So I made sure a few people saw something interesting. A local business influencer posted a thread about event organizers who used public funds for personal gain. Anonymous sources, screenshots, timing that lined up just enough to point fingers without ever saying names. Her phone blew up. Her brand collaborations quietly disappeared. I didn't need to comment. I just watched. A month later, Eli called from a new number. Danny, listen, can we talk? Please. I could hear the exhaustion in his voice. It was the sound of someone who finally realized the world wasn't buying his charm anymore. I stayed silent. Let him keep talking. I don't know what happened. Everyone's pulling out of contracts. My permits got flagged, and I'm trying to get them reinstated. Mira's freaking out. You've got to stop whatever this is. The way he said it, you've got to stop. Not I'm sorry. Not I hurt you. Just stop. That was when I spoke. Stop what, Eli? There was a pause. You know what you're doing, he said. You mean holding you accountable? Another pause. I'm sorry, okay? It got out of hand. I made mistakes. I let out a breath that sounded almost like a laugh. You stole from me, lied to me, lied to everyone around you. You didn't make a mistake, Eli. You made a choice. I can fix it, he said desperately. Just tell me what you want. I already got what I wanted, I said, and hung up. I'll admit it, revenge feels good. But not in the way people think. It's not fireworks. It's not screaming or throwing drinks or public showdowns. It's quiet. It's watching someone realize the consequences they thought they'd never face have finally caught up. It's peace. A few weeks later, a friend of mine from the local paper texted me. They were running a story about small businesses in the construction industry being investigated for compliance violations. Guess who was mentioned by name? I didn't submit it, but someone did. Maybe one of the clients I helped. Either way, it was poetic. Eli's reputation crumbled faster than one of his cheap remodels. As for Mira, I heard through mutual friends that her relationship with Eli didn't last long after that. Apparently, he blamed her for distracting him, said she ruined his focus. She moved back in with her parents for a while, and the last I heard, she was working part-time, trying to start over. I didn't feel bad, not even a little. One afternoon, I got a letter in the mail, no return address. Inside was a check for $6,800, the exact amount he stole from me. No note, no signature. I stared at it for a long time before shredding it, because I didn't want his money anymore. It wasn't worth the price of peace. I thought that would be the end of it. But life has a funny way of circling back. A few months later, I was working late when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hey, Danny. It's Mark from Horizon Contracting. I remembered him immediately. He used to work under Eli. I'm starting my own business, he said. Heard what happened with you two. You handled it better than anyone else would have. I could use someone like you, someone smart, organized, and honest. I almost cried right there at my desk. That's how it ended, not with a bang, but with something better. A new beginning. Eli lost everything he stole. Mira lost everything she betrayed. And me? I got my life back, my dignity, and a job that reminded me who I really was before they tried to take it. But here's the truth. I didn't expect to learn. Revenge isn't about making someone else hurt. It's about taking your power back and making sure they know you'll never give it away again. They thought they broke me. They just built a smarter version. There's a kind of silence that feels like healing. After everything, after the money, the lies, the nights pretending I didn't know, I woke up one morning in my new place and realized I had nothing left to say to either of them. And that felt right. No more texts, no more overthinking, no more fake we'll talk later promises. Just peace. Eli still tried to reach out, even after the call where I told him I was done. A random email. A vague voicemail. One time, a handwritten note slipped under the door of my old place that simply said, I miss you. I didn't handle things well. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. Not because I was being petty, but because I'd already spent too much of my life reacting to the wrong version of him. The one I loved? He never really existed. The one writing letters now? He was just trying to clean up the wreckage without picking up a single sharp edge. Word got around. People talked, and not in the gossip for drama way. Friends started coming to me privately, saying things like, I'm so sorry I didn't see it. I didn't know he was like that. If you ever need anything, just say the word. Even Mira's younger sister, who I hadn't spoken to in years, sent me a message on Instagram. She wrote, I always thought you were too good for both of them. I hope you're doing okay. That one hit different. I didn't reply, but I saved the message. I did see Eli one last time. It was accidental. I was grabbing coffee at a shop near my office. He walked in behind me. We made eye contact. Just for a second. He looked thinner. Tired. Like the kind of tired that doesn't come from lack of sleep, but from carrying the weight of every lie you swore you'd get away with. He opened his mouth like he wanted to say something, but I smiled. Just a polite, closed-mouth nod. Then I turned and walked out. He didn't follow. That was closure. Not some dramatic speech. Not a meltdown in the middle of a latte line. Just two people who used to share a life, now sharing a moment that meant absolutely nothing. Mira never tried to reach out, which honestly made sense. Cowards rarely do. From what I've heard, she took a break from social media, moved back to live with her mom for a while, and was working part-time at a boutique she used to laugh at for being beneath her. Karma's not always flashy. Sometimes it's quiet, slow, and wearing your old best friend's face in a place you never thought they'd fall to. I never got my money back. Not really. Sure, there was that check he sent, the exact amount he stole. I shredded it, because if I cashed it, it'd mean he got to clear his conscience. And I wasn't doing that for him. Instead, I rebuilt. Found a job I actually liked, with people who valued my brain, not just my loyalty. Started hiking again. Adopted a senior dog named Peanut, who snores louder than an old man and follows me around like I'm made of sunshine. I'm not the same person I was before they betrayed me. I'm better. Stronger. Sharper, but softer too. Because even though I got my revenge, I didn't let it turn me bitter. I let it turn me real. Sometimes people ask me, do you ever wish it hadn't happened? And the honest answer is no. Not anymore. Because if they hadn't shown me who they really were, I might have kept believing in the version of them that never existed. I would have kept sacrificing pieces of myself just to make things work. Kept making excuses for being ignored, dismissed, lied to. So no, I don't wish it didn't happen. I'm just glad I finally stopped apologizing for noticing what was always right in front of me. To anyone reading this who's going through something similar, you don't have to scream to be strong. You don't have to explode to make your point. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. No drama, no parting words, just your back turned and your head held high. Let them feel the absence. Let them sit with the silence. Let them realize they didn't just lose someone who loved them. They lost someone who never would have done to them what they did to you. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. If you want to share your stories, please comment below. Additionally, what is your opinion on the poster's decision?